Have you ever looked at the calendar and thought, where did the years go? One day you're full of energy, chasing after grandkids or tending to your garden, and the next, it feels like your body just isn't keeping up the way it used to. You're not alone in that feeling. So many women over 60 start noticing little changes. Maybe a bit more stiffness in the morning, a little less pep in their step, or even just feeling like the years are slipping by faster than they'd like. But here's something that might surprise you. Living to 100 isn't just a matter of luck or good genes. In fact, there are simple, everyday habits that can make all the difference between just getting by and truly thriving well into your golden years. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Why so many women don't make it past 80, and more importantly, what you can do to not only reach that milestone but go beyond it, full of vitality and joy. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Isn't aging just inevitable? Well, yes and no. While we can't stop the clock, we can absolutely influence how we age. Think of it like tending to a garden. If you neglect it, the weeds take over. But with a little care, the right nourishment, and some love, that garden can flourish for years and years. Your body is no different. So let's start with the first secret to living a longer, healthier life: movement. And no, I'm not talking about running marathons or lifting heavy weights. It's about staying active in ways that feel good for you. You see, as we age, our muscles naturally start to weaken if we don't use them. That loss of strength can lead to more falls, less independence, and even a slower metabolism. But the good news: even gentle movement, like a daily walk, some light stretching, or even dancing around the kitchen while you cook, can make a huge difference. The key is consistency. It's not about pushing yourself to exhaustion. It's about finding small ways to keep your body engaged every single day. Maybe it's taking the stairs instead of the elevator, parking a little farther from the store, or joining a local Tai Chi class. Whatever feels good for you, the important thing is to just keep moving. Now, the second secret is something you've probably heard before, but it's so important that it bears repeating: nourishing your body with the right foods. And I'm not talking about restrictive diets or cutting out everything you love. It's about making small, sustainable changes that add up over time. For example, as we age, our bodies need more protein to maintain muscle, more fiber to keep digestion smooth, and plenty of colorful fruits and vegetables to fight inflammation. But here's the thing: it's not just about what you eat, but how you eat. Slowing down, savoring your meals, and even sharing them with loved ones can make a big difference in how your body absorbs nutrients and how satisfied you feel. And let's be honest, food is one of life's great pleasures, so why not make it work for you? Now, before we move on to the next secrets, I want you to take a moment and think about how these two things, movement and nourishment, are already part of your life. Maybe you're doing better than you think. Or maybe there's a small adjustment you could make today to feel even better tomorrow. Because that's really what this is all about: tiny shifts that lead to big changes over time. And speaking of changes, let's talk about the third secret, something that doesn't get nearly enough attention when it comes to longevity, and that's your social connections. We'll dive into that next, because as it turns out, who you spend your time with might be just as important as what you eat or how much you move. But for now, I'd love to hear, what's one small way you could add more movement or nourishing food into your day? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're finding this helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss the next part, where we'll keep uncovering these life-changing secrets together. Because you deserve to feel your best, no matter what the calendar says. You know, there's an old saying that goes, "You're only as old as you feel." And while that might sound a little cliché, there's actually a lot of truth to it, especially when it comes to the people we surround ourselves with. Think about it for a moment. Have you ever spent time with someone who just drains your energy? Maybe they're always complaining, or stuck in the past, or just seem to bring a cloud of negativity wherever they go. On the flip side, think about those friends or family members who leave you feeling uplifted, laughing, and maybe even a little inspired. That's no coincidence. This brings us to the third secret to living a longer, happier life: the power of strong social connections. Research has shown over and over again that people with close, meaningful relationships tend to live longer, healthier lives. In fact, one famous study found that having strong social ties can be just as important for longevity as quitting smoking or maintaining a healthy weight. That's how powerful this is. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. What if I don't have a big family or a wide circle of friends? That's okay. It's not about the number of people in your life. It's about the quality of those connections. Even one or two close relationships can make all the difference. Maybe it's a childhood friend you call every Sunday, a neighbor you share coffee with, or even a community group where you feel like you belong. The key is to nurture those bonds, to make time for the people who make you feel seen, heard, and valued. And here's something else to consider. If you've noticed that certain relationships leave you feeling worse instead of better, it's okay to set boundaries. Life's too short to spend it with people who bring you down. Surround yourself with those who encourage you, who make you laugh, who remind you that life is still full of joy, no matter your age. Now, let's move on to the fourth secret, one that doesn't get talked about nearly enough, and that's the importance of purpose. Have you ever woken up in the morning and felt like you just didn't have anything to look forward to? Maybe the days start to blur together, or you find yourself asking, what's the point? If so, you're not alone. But here's the thing, having a sense of purpose isn't just good for your mood, it's actually good for your health. Studies have shown that people who feel a strong sense of purpose tend to have lower risks of heart disease, better cognitive function, and yes, even longer lives. But what does purpose really mean? It doesn't have to be some grand, life-changing mission. It can be as simple as tending to your garden, volunteering at a local charity, teaching your grandkids a skill you love, or even just committing to learning something new. The key is to find something that makes you feel like you matter, like your days have meaning. For some, it might be creative, painting, writing, or crafting. For others, it could be helping, mentoring, listening, or sharing wisdom. And for some, it might just be the quiet joy of watching the birds outside your window and appreciating the little things. There's no right or wrong answer here. The only thing that matters is that it feels meaningful to *you star. Now, before we move on to the fifth and final secret, I want you to take a moment and think, who are the people in your life who lift you up? And what's one small thing you could do this week to nurture those connections or rediscover a sense of purpose? Maybe it's reaching out to an old friend, joining a new group, or even just setting aside time for a hobby you've neglected. Because here's the truth, living to 100 isn't just about adding years to your life. It's about adding *life* to your years. And that's exactly what we'll explore in the next part, where we'll uncover the fifth secret, one that ties everything together in a way you might not expect. But for now, I'd love to hear from you. Who's someone in your life who makes you feel energized and appreciated? Or what's something that gives you a sense of purpose? Share it in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you're enjoying this series, don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had one of those nights where you just couldn't fall asleep, no matter how tired you were? You toss and turn, watching the clock tick closer to morning, knowing you'll be dragging through the next day. Now imagine if that happened night after night. Not only would you feel exhausted, but over time, your health would start paying the price too. That brings us to our fifth secret, and it's one that so many of us overlook in our later years, the incredible power of truly restorative sleep. You see, as we age, our sleep patterns naturally change. Many women over 60 find themselves waking up more during the night or struggling to fall asleep in the first place. But here's what most people don't realize. Poor sleep isn't just about feeling tired. Chronic sleep problems can weaken your immune system, increase inflammation in your body, and even affect your memory and cognitive function. In fact, research shows that consistently getting quality sleep may be just as important for longevity as diet and exercise. But before you resign yourself to restless nights, let me share some good news. There are simple, natural ways to dramatically improve your sleep without relying on medications. First, consider your bedtime routine. Our bodies love consistency, so going to bed and waking up around the same time every day, yes, even on weekends, helps regulate your internal clock. Next, think about your evening environment. Is your bedroom truly optimized for sleep? Cool, dark, and quiet is the golden rule. Something as simple as blackout curtains or a white noise machine can make a world of difference. Now, here's a tip you might not have heard before, the connection between daytime light exposure and nighttime sleep. Getting plenty of natural sunlight during the day, especially in the morning, helps maintain healthy circadian rhythms. Even on cloudy days, that outdoor light is far more powerful than indoor lighting. And while we're talking about light, let's address the elephant in the room, screens. That blue light from TVs, phones and tablets tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime. Try turning off all screens at least an hour before bed, and you might be amazed at the difference it makes. Of course, what you consume affects your sleep too. That afternoon coffee? It might still be affecting you 8 hours later. Alcohol, while it might help you fall asleep initially, actually disrupts sleep quality later in the night. And eating heavy meals too close to bedtime can lead to discomfort and indigestion that keeps you awake. But here's the most important thing to remember. If you've been struggling with sleep for a while, be patient with yourself. It can take time to establish new habits and see improvements. Start with 1 or 2 small changes, track your progress, and celebrate the small victories. Even an extra 30 minutes of quality sleep each night can have profound effects on your health and well-being over time. Now, you might be wondering how all these secrets connect: the movement, the nourishment, the social ties, the sense of purpose, and now quality sleep. That's exactly what we'll explore in our final part, where we'll tie everything together and reveal how these elements work synergistically to not just add years to your life, but life to your years. We'll also discuss one surprising factor that could be undermining all your efforts if you're not careful. But before we get to that, I'd love to hear from you. What's your biggest challenge when it comes to getting good sleep? Have you discovered any tricks that work particularly well for you? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your tip might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. And if you found this series helpful so far, don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss our powerful conclusion. There's a beautiful saying that goes, "Growing old is a privilege denied to many." And if you're here with me today, watching this, that means you've already been blessed with the gift of years that so many never get to experience. But here's what I want you to know: those years ahead of you, they can be your most vibrant, joyful, and fulfilling ones yet. Because living to 100 isn't just about counting candles on a birthday cake, it's about making every single day count. Now, we've covered so much ground together, from staying active in ways that bring you joy, to nourishing your body with foods that love you back, to cultivating relationships that fill your heart, finding purpose that makes your soul sing, and finally, honoring your body's need for restorative sleep. These aren't just random tips, they're interconnected pieces of a beautiful puzzle we call longevity. But there's one final piece we need to talk about today, perhaps the most powerful ingredient of all. It's something that can either accelerate aging or slow it down dramatically, something that affects every single system in your body. I'm talking about stress, but more importantly, how you manage it. You see, chronic stress is like leaving your car engine running 24/7. Eventually, it's going to wear out. When we're constantly stressed, our bodies pump out cortisol, a hormone that in small doses helps us, but in constant flow, breaks us down. It weakens our immune system, raises blood pressure, and even affects our memory. Now here's the good news. You have more control over your stress response than you might think. It's not about eliminating stress completely, that's impossible, but about changing how you respond to it. Simple practices like deep breathing, just taking 5 slow, deep breaths when you feel tense, can short-circuit the stress response. Meditation doesn't have to be complicated. Even 5 minutes of sitting quietly and focusing on your breath can work wonders. But my favorite stress buster? Laughter. It's nature's perfect medicine. When you laugh, you release endorphins, your blood flow improves, and your stress hormones decrease. So watch that funny movie, call the friend who always makes you chuckle, or remember that silly thing your grandchild said. Joy is a choice we get to make every single day. Now, let's bring all these secrets together, because here's the magical part: each one reinforces the others. When you move your body, you sleep better. When you sleep better, you make healthier food choices. When you eat well, you have more energy to nurture relationships. Strong social connections reduce stress, which helps you sleep better, and on it goes. It's not about being perfect in any one area. It's about creating positive momentum in your life. I want you to imagine something with me. Picture yourself at 90, 95, even 100 years old. What do you see? Are you sitting in a rocking chair waiting for the days to pass? Or are you living, really living, with vitality, curiosity, and joy? The beautiful truth is, that future is being created by the choices you make today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. So here's my challenge to you. Pick just one thing from what we've discussed that resonates with you the most. Maybe it's adding a 10-minute walk to your day. Maybe it's reaching out to an old friend. Maybe it's simply going to bed 30 minutes earlier tonight. Start small, but start today. Because those small steps, they lead to big changes over time. Before we say goodbye, I want to thank you for spending this time with me. Your willingness to learn and grow at this stage of life is truly inspiring. Now I'd love to hear from you. What's one change you're committing to starting today? Share it in the comments below. Let's support each other on this journey. If this series has brought value to your life, please hit that like button. It helps others find this content too. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel. We're here to support you in living your healthiest, happiest life at every age. Remember, the best years aren't behind you. They're ahead of you, waiting to be lived fully. Here's to your health, your happiness, and your extraordinary journey ahead. Until next time, keep shining.